Hey everyone, it's Isaac Shutt, your favorite wills and estates attorney. Now, I have another article for you today, another legal article, but it's actually not about wills and estates. But bear with me, I think you're really going to like this article because it impacts maybe everybody, certainly every Texan. Ken Paxton, the Attorney General here in Texas, filed suit back in 2022 against Meta, the Facebook parent company. Facebook just settled. Now, the settlement figure, and I'll just cut right to the chase, is $1.4 billion. But I don't even think that's really the big news of this case. I think the big news of this case is about privacy. Okay, so let me just dive into this article a little bit. This started back in 2022 when the lawsuit filed by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton alleged that Meta, or Facebook, had been using facial recognition software on photos uploaded to Facebook without Texans' consent. Okay, so and then the case just recently settled here for $1.4 billion. Paxton's office said that this is the largest settlement ever obtained by a single state, and the largest settlement related to privacy a state general has ever secured. Okay, so let me just repeat that because that's a big deal. Paxton's office said that this is the largest settlement ever obtained by a single state and the largest settlement related to privacy a state attorney general has ever secured. Okay, so I think that's really interesting, and I think that's really the big deal of this case. It's not just that it's a $1.4 billion settlement involving a massive company. It's that it is going to be paid to the state of Texas, number one, and number two, that it deals with privacy. So this is a quote from Ken Paxton where he says, "This historic settlement demonstrates our commitment to standing up to the world's biggest technology companies and holding them accountable for breaking the law and violating Texans' privacy rights. Any abuse of Texans' sensitive data will be met with the full force of law," end quote. To get a little bit more specific about this case, really what happened is that Ken Paxton alleged that Meta violated a Texas 2009 law that protects Texans' biometric data, which would include fingerprints and then also facial scans, right? So that 2009 law says you as a Texan have certain privacy rights to your fingerprint confidentiality and your facial scan confidentiality. And that 2009 law requires businesses to inform and get consent from individuals before collecting that data. And it also limits the sharing of that data unless it's for certain authorized law enforcement purposes or for certain authorized financial transactions. And it really puts the onus on businesses to protect that data and to destroy it if it's not needed, if it's not serving one of those authorized purposes. Okay, so here's what happened. The law was enacted in 2009 to protect your fingerprint and facial recognition. But then in 2011, Meta introduced a new feature called Tag Suggestions to make it easier for Facebook users to tag people in their photos. Okay, so let's say user 1 takes a picture of someone, but then user 2, their face is in that picture. User 1 now can tag user 2. Okay, so you see where the problem is here because Texas argues that was a violation of user 2's privacy rights because user 2 had privacy rights to his facial recognition. And the real problem is that the feature for tagging was turned on by default and it automatically ran facial recognition on all of the user's photos. So basically, it automatically kept facial recognition data and then shared that data in violation of the 2009 law. Now, the system was actually discontinued. Meta discontinued that feature back in 2021 and said that it deleted over 1 billion people's individual facial recognition data, which to me is just mind-blowing. That's just a huge privacy issue. The fact that Facebook, maybe without even your knowledge, collected 1 billion users face, that could be used for facial recognition and shared that maybe without even you knowing about it. But it promises it stopped that, and it's not, those features are not automatically turned on anymore. And it has deleted all of that data, it says, as of 2021. Now, again, this was not reduced to a judgment. So what happened here is actually the state of Texas and Facebook came to a settlement. And the settlement wasn't just about the money damages, that eye-popping $1.4 billion. The settlement also has a little bit to do with what will happen in the future. So let's say there's a future issue where there's a potential violation of the facial recognition through Facebook. Under the settlement, Meta must notify the Attorney General's office of anticipated or ongoing activities that may fall under the state of Texas biometric data laws. Now, if after that Texas objects, the parties have 60 days to attempt to resolve the issue. And then if they don't, presumably it would go to court and a judge would decide, what to do with it. According to the settlement, and I tend to agree with this settlement will make it easier for the company, i.e. Facebook, to discuss the implications and requirements of the state's biometric data laws with the Attorney General's office, and adding in additional data protection and privacy protection as sort of core priorities. I don't want to be all conspiracy theorist here or whatever, but I do get uncomfortable with the thought that, these devices that everybody is carrying around, I mean, we all have smartphones and things like that. You don't know who's taking pictures and how that information, including your face, is being shared. And I love the idea here that the state is fighting back a little bit and saying, wait a minute, we can't have this big brother intrusion. Whether it was, all pure intent, these features being turned on, or whether there was something nefarious, doesn't really matter. I think as a person in our society, I think this is actually a big win for all of us, that we are getting a little bit more privacy here, that Big Brother has to ratchet down just a little bit. And I think for all of us, this is a really good settlement. So it's at least a step in the right direction. So, I have to applaud here the state of Texas for standing up for its citizens. And I have to, and obviously it paid off. It put $1.4 billion in the coffers, but also it kind of took down a notch the Big Brother automatic surveillance that has been going on. And so I think that's a step in the right direction.